The lights in the briefing room snapped to red. "General on deck." Someone barked, but the words died in the throat of the young captain who said them. General Harlan Voss didn't wait for the salute. He strode straight to the head of the table, boots ringing like hammer blows on steel. His eyes cold, gray, and famous for spotting a lie at 50 meters, fixed on the only person still seated. "Call sign," he said. One syllable, flat as a rifle shot. The room held its breath. 30 pilots, analysts, and ground crew froze mid-motion, coffee cups halfway to lips, tablets forgotten. They all knew the rule. No one withheld their call sign from the old man. Not ever. She rose slowly. Captain Mara Ellison, 5'6" in flight boots, hair twisted into a regulation knot that couldn't quite hide the streak of premature silver at her temple. Her flight suit was patched at the elbows, the fabric sun-bleached from too many desert deployments. "Specter 6, she answered. Silence. Not the respectful hush of protocol. This was the silence of a tomb ceiling shut. A lieutenant in the back row dropped his stylus. It clattered like a spent casing. Voss's jaw flexed. "Say again." "Specter 6, sir." The general's nostrils flared. He turned to the wall screen and stabbed a button. A grainy satellite image bloomed. A convoy in flames, black smoke curling into a dawn sky. The timestamp read 14 months ago. Specter Flight was 6 ships, Voss said, voice low enough that everyone leaned forward. 5 confirmed Kia. 1 missing, presumed. That missing bird had the call sign Specter 6. He pivoted back to Mara. "So either you're a ghost, Captain, or you're wearing a dead woman's name. Which is it?" Mara's chin lifted. "Neither, sir. I'm the reason the file says presumed." A collective inhale rippled through the room. Voss's eyes narrowed to slits. "Briefing's over. Everyone out. Except you." Chairs scraped. Boots shuffled. The door hissed shut, leaving only the hum of the ventilation and the smell of burnt coffee. Voss folded his arms. "Start talking." Mara stared at the satellite image still frozen on the screen. Her burning convoy. She swallowed once, hard. "Permission to speak freely?" "Granted, and you'd better make it the truth," she began. 14 months earlier, over the Ashen Corridor. Mara then Lieutenant Ellison flew tail and Charlie in Specter Flight. Their mission: escort a humanitarian convoy through a narrow valley crawling with anti-air batteries. Intel said the route was clear. Intel was wrong. The first missile took Specter 1 Major Delgado before he finished his radio check. The second punched through Specter 3's cockpit. In 30 seconds, the flight was down to 4 ships, then 3, then Mara alone. She jinked through the flak, afterburner screaming, trying to draw fire from the trucks below. A surface-to-air missile clipped her port wing. Hydraulics bled out. The jet became a stone with engines. Specter 6 eject. Delgado's wingman, Specter 2, yelled over the guard channel. "Negative," Mara transmitted, voice steady even as the altimeter spun. "Convoy's still in the kill box." She rolled the dying jet inverted, pointed the nose at the missile battery, and rode it all the way down. The explosion lit the valley like noon. When the smoke cleared, the battery was gone. The convoy, 43 aid workers, 200 refugees, limped into the safe zone. But no parachute blossomed above the wreckage. Search and rescue found the crater, the tail fin, and a scorched helmet with the name Ellison stenciled on the back. They declared her Kia. The file closed, except Mara hadn't died. She woke in the dark, half buried in sandstone. Her ejection seat tangled in a tamarisk tree 20 meters from the crash. Broken ribs, concussion, and a gash across her scalp that would leave the silver streak. For 3 days she crawled through the dunes, sipping condensation from rocks following the sun west. On the 4th night, nomadic herders found her refugees themselves, the very people her convoy had tried to save. They hid her from patrols, taught her their dialect, gave her a burnous and a new name, Amira. For 9 months she moved with them, repairing generators, delivering babies, learning how war looked from the ground instead of a cockpit. Every dawn she scanned the sky for friendly jets, and wondered if anyone was still looking. Then came the satellite phone. One of the herder's sons, studying engineering in the capital, smuggled it in. Mara powered it up, hands shaking, and typed a single message on an encrypted humanitarian channel. Specter 6 alive. 32.14 N. 43.080 need exfil. 48 hours later, a blacked-out helicopter dropped a rope in the moonlight. She kissed the old woman who'd bandaged her ribs, climbed aboard, and left the desert behind. The debrief lasted a month. Psych eval, polygraph, the works. They offered her a medical discharge and a chest full of medals. She refused both. "I still have a jet to fly," she said. They gave her a new squadron, a new bird, and against protocol let her keep the call sign, Specter Six. A quiet tribute to the 5 who never came home. Back in the briefing room, Voss listened without interrupting. When Mara finished, the only sound was the soft tick of the wall clock. Finally he spoke. "You disobeyed a direct order to eject." "Yes, sir." "You destroyed government property." "Affirmative." "You lived." Mara met his stare. 5 didn't. "I carry that every day." Voss turned to the satellite image again. With a flick of his wrist, he advanced the footage, frame by frame. The convoy rolled into the safe zone, children waving from the back of a truck. He killed the projection. The room went dark, except for the red exit sign. "You know why I hate ghosts, Captain?" His voice was softer now, almost human. "Because I buried my daughter in that valley." Specter 3. Mara's breath caught. She hadn't known. The roster had been redacted. Voss continued. "I read the after-action report 100 times. Kept asking myself what I'd have done in your seat. Took me a year to admit the answer." He looked at her, eyes wet but steady. "Exactly what you did." He stepped closer. Close enough that she smelled the starch in his uniform. "Specter 6, he said, tasting the call sign like strong medicine. "Welcome back to the fight." He saluted crisp. Perfect. The first time anyone in the room had ever seen General Voss salute a junior officer. Mara returned it, palm trembling. Word spread faster than jet wash. By evening the hangar was packed. Pilots who'd never met her lined the catwalk. Someone chalked Specter 6 on the nose of her new F-35 in fresh white paint. Her first sortie was scheduled for 0400 strike package against the same militia that had lit up the Ashen Corridor. At Nero 350, Mara stood on the flight line, helmet under her arm. The sky was still star-drunk, the air cold enough to burn the lungs. A shadow detached from the darkness. General Voss. No stars on his collar tonight, just a worn flight jacket. He carried something in his gloved hand. He pressed it into her palm. A small silver pin shaped like a ghost. On the back, engraved, "For Specter 3. From her mother," he said. "She wanted you to have it." Mara pinned it inside her flight suit, right over her heart. Voss offered his hand. She took it. "Bring them all home this time, Captain." "I'll do my best, sir." He smiled, small, fierce, the kind of smile that had launched 1,000 missions. "Your best saved 200 lives once. I'll take those odds." Engines spooled behind them. Mara climbed the ladder, settled into the cockpit, and ran the pre-flight with steady fingers. Tower cleared her. Specter 6. Runway 29er. Winds calm. Good hunting. She taxied into position, afterburner igniting like sunrise in a can. As the jet thundered down the runway, Mara keyed the mic one last time before going supersonic. "Specter Flight. This is 6. Rolling with 5 angels on my wings. Let's light up the dark." She pulled back on the stick. The F-35 clawed into the sky, chasing stars that suddenly didn't feel so far away. Behind her, on the tarmac, General Voss watched until the contrail vanished. Then he turned, squared his shoulders, and walked back to headquarters lighter, somehow, than he'd been in 14 months. The legend of Specter 6 wasn't about the crash or the crawl through the desert, or even the medal no one would ever pin. It was about the choice to keep flying anyway. Because some ghosts don't haunt, they lead the way home.